Hello and welcome to the 5th round of the Dutch Supercar Challenge at the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps. All 4 divisions are present and it's their 4th championship round, making up for a starting grid of 72 cars, starting all at the same time. Pole position for Saturday's race, the Audi R8 Le Mans GT3. A good start of the weekend. Everything indeed is looking very promising. We managed to set some good lap times in between the rain showers. The free practice we showed great progress and at the fastest lap time, so we could repeat this result during qualifying and we're half a second faster than the second place car. We're very pleased with this result. The handling and the balance of the car is great, says Robert de Graaf, one of the drivers. When you drive this car in the rain, it gives you an immediate full control and confidence. I expect we can do very well. Second place on the grid is for leader in the GT Championship, Diederik Seithoff, driving the Dodge Viper SRT10. Third place on the grid is for the Mosler Super GT of Martin Short, sharing the car with Michael Quash, current leader in the British GT Championship. Pole position in Supersport 1 division is for René Wijnen and Errol Ertan. It's going to be extremely difficult with these weather conditions. Spa is a high-speed racetrack, so you have to make quick decisions to keep everything in one piece. I don't know what will happen, says René Wijnen. I think that Ford Mondeo silhouettes can benefit from their better handling in the rain. We're new in the rain with this Porsche, so we have to see what the car can do in the wet. We're aiming for the podium, and that's all I can tell you right now. Pole position for the leaders in the Supersport 2 Championship. Robin and Ferry Monster driving the Seat Leon Supercopa. It was a big surprise to me, as the Seat is not the best car for Spa-Francorchamps. It lacks engine power on the straight in relation to the other competitors. But in the last lap during qualifying I had all the room I needed and even managed to get into the slipstream of a GT car and took pole position that way. Sure, we'll have to be very careful in the rain, says his brother, and score as much points as possible. Pole position isn't a guarantee for success. Starting first in the sports class is Erik van der Munkhoff in the Ford Focus Silhouette. I didn't see this one coming. We had a great qualifying yesterday and we took second place, but the organization decided to move the first place car to a higher class, so we were given pole position. It's good to be in first place. I'm very happy. And so we have a roll down to the start. It's very wet at Spa-Francorchamps, bad weather in the Ardennes. We're on board with the BMW 1 Series of Koen Bogaerts, second in the championship, but only managed to qualify in 8th place. We're on board with Rob Frans, waiting for the lights to go out. Rob is our reigning champion in the Supersport 1 division. Lights are off and we started racing, although it's very difficult to see anything in the spray at this very slippery track of Spa-Francorchamps. And it's Carlo Caio taking the outside line through the first corner, very wide at La Source, and losing a couple of places there, as it seems very difficult to see anything. On board with Rob Frans in the Porsche. He started in second position, but he's dropping back steadily. He's been overtaken by Jackie van der Ende in the blue Mondeo. Mondeo's doing very well on the straight, using all the power that they have in the V6 engine. So it's the Audi making the best start. We're on board with Martin Short. He's in third position. Very difficult to see, but he is third. There you are, run up to Lecombe. And in second place, Diederik Seithoff with the Viper. Martin Short looking for a way to get through. No way. There's Dave Bassou in the Corvette in fourth position. On board with Martin Short, taking a different line. Looking for the inside line through that corner. Is that going to work? No, it's not. Everybody's still very careful. Closing the gaps. Closing the door on Martin Short as well. Now, coming out of the slipstream, maybe. Has a chance on the inside, and he takes second place off of Diederik Seithoff. lots of experience in this car. Martin Short knows every corner of this track. There's still the Audi in front, but Martin Short is getting closer and closer, and it looks like Dave Basu is playing the waiting game for the moment. See what happens in front. Martin Short is not going to wait anymore. He's coming out of the slipstream, braking for the bus stop chicane. No, still the Audi. Audi having the best traction in these conditions. Oh, bit of a wobble there, getting onto the power of the Mosler. And there's a safety car on the track. Yellow flag's been waved. Oh, it's Dave Basu. His waiting game has ended. That looks like a major shunt wall, and it is. Looks like he lost it on top of Radillon after the climb of Eau Rouge. Yep, that's where it is. Yeah, I was pushing too hard up the hill in Eau Rouge and I lost control of the car. My setup was set too hard because I thought the track would dry up eventually. That was a bad call and I lost all control of the car. Needless to say, the car was done for the weekend and will be sent back to Corvette in Detroit, where they will try to fix the bent chassis. After a long safety car period, it's green again. We're off racing again. Audi in the lead, Martin Short in second place, and Didier Exeithoff in third. We make a big jump forward because there were several incidents and several safety car situations, lots of people going off, and we find ourselves after the pit stops with the Audi still leading, with Barry Van Elk in second place, in third place Didier Exeithoff, and in fourth place now the car driven by Mike Gouache. He's in for a good fight for third place with Didier Exeithoff in the Viper, still getting to know the track, and he's been called off as his coach in the pits. It's his first time out in the car, first time out in Spa-Francorchamps. He has a race here later this season, and so Martin Short is coaching him from the pit.
We've got Mike in the car now. We've got Exeithoff in the Viper crawling all over him. So 15 minutes to go, we'll see what happens.
Indeed, 15 minutes within fifth place, Jan Versluis in the Ferrari. In sixth place, Roger Grauwels in the Corvette, the yellow car. Then it's Alex van 't Hoff in the orange Mosler. And then it's the old Marcos LM600 driven by the legend Cor Euser. And he's legendary indeed. Alex van 't Hoff trying to hold him off, but failing miserably. And now it's Roger Grauwels who has to fend off the attentions of Cor Euser. Jan Versluis still in fifth place. There's Cor Euser coming up with the LM600. The old girl still very fast. Bus stop chicane, accelerating out. A bit of a wobble there. On board with Roger Grauwels, taking fifth place from Jan Versluis, like taking candy from a baby basically, and that means that something is wrong in the Ferrari. Roger Grauwels is past him, and so does Cor Euser in the LM600, and minutes later he's in the pits, Jan Versluis. Something's wrong. Bit of a damaged Ferrari there. Yeah, I lost traction on my front wheels all of a sudden, and I overshot my braking point. I tried to brake, but it was impossible on the wet grass. And with around 10 kilometers an hour, I hit the Armco. And that tiny bump was enough to ruin the front bumper. Everything was going great, but it was not to be. So how are things going in Supersport 1? Bert van der Zwirde has found a new car. It's still a Silhouette BMW. He's fighting for second place with Go Schouten in the Seeker. Well, that's second for him. Bert van der Zwirde, always very quick in the rain. It's a fight for first place now. Bert van der Zwirde in the BMW Silhouette. Another Silhouette car in the lead, but not for long because Bert van der Zwirde has passed him. It's Carlo Caio in the new Divitec SF11. A very oddly shaped car, but still very quick. It's the new Solution F car. It looks strange, but it's a quick car. Right out of the box, but I prefer the classic BMW racing lines. Anyway, good fight for first place in Supersport 1. As he stays with him, we're on board with Mike Gouache, and he's back in the fight for third place with Diederik Seithoff. Last time he was told to back off, now he doesn't. He's unleashed and he takes third place, and now he's on the tail of Barry Van Elk. Barry Van Elk in one of the Pragas. Headlights ablaze, flashing. I'm coming through. Get out of my way. And Mike Gouache moves to second place. Great drive by the American. Still in the lead, the Audi, and the black and white is waiting. In this case, it's not a police car, but a flag. Bit of a wobble, accelerating out, but he's happy with his win here on Spa-Francorchamps circuit in the rain. Mikey Gouache in second place, but in third, who's it going to be? Barry Van Elk, Diederik Seithoff, or Roger Grouwels? They all are in with a chance, but it looks to be Barry Van Elk last spurt, maybe from Roger Grouwels. No, it's Barry Van Elk in third. So here we are with the podium, the Audi boys in first place, and the first podium for Barry Van Elk in the Praga R4S.
Ja, het ging eigenlijk wel heel erg goed.
Yeah, everything went according to plan.
Het eigenlijk het beste in die auto.
When the track was extremely wet, the car was handling perfectly. It was quite scary during the start of the race. I couldn't see anything. It was just a big white cloud of spray. The car was not properly set up for the changing track conditions, so I was all over the place. That meant the competition behind me could close up, and in the last lap, Martin Short and his colleague overtook me. So let's take a look at the race results. In first place, Robert de Graaf and Arnie van der Hoek, their second victory this season. Martin Short and Mike Gouache in second place, and Barry Van Elk in third. After first place for the Slovakian team racing for Slovakia and a third place for Barry Van Elk, the Praga R4S is doing very well in the competitive GT field. After the break, we take a closer look at this exciting car.
With so much racing going on in the world, you'd have to be a four-headed monster to keep up with it all. Luckily, we have that. Join Peter Keane, Bill Wood, Errol Tucker, and their guest driver analyst each week for an opinionated look at the news coming out of the racing world. Remember, it's GoRacingTV.com for all your racing and video needs.
Well, Greg Creamer, GoRacingTV.com has done it again. They've come up with reruns of the Viper Racing Series, which you and I are kind of interested in.
Very interested in it, folks. If you haven't seen this, tune in, because that racing is absolutely spectacular. These special spec cars that they've come up with, the performance level of these things, Tom, has been spectacular. The racing close, celebrity guest drivers of sorts that get in the mix and have some fun. And what it's actually turned into is an incredibly exciting series. In its debut year, you can revisit it right here at GoRacingTV.com.
And about the fifth best thing about the series is that Greg and I host it. We'll see you on GoRacingTV.com coming up this season.
Way down the list.
Way down the list.
Before the break, we saw how Barry Van Elk took his first podium in the Praga R4S, but last year he competed with this Mosler. Over the winter, they spent many hours to update the car and seem to be ready for the start of the season in Hockenheim. Alas, it was not to be. Noel Köhler was my co-driver for the weekend, as his car wasn't ready yet. He was training on Thursday to get used to the car. I was still working in the office back home, and that day I got a phone call that I couldn't drive the Mosler this weekend. I asked him what was wrong. Was the car damaged due to a collision or something else? He mentioned something about a fire in the car. Later it turned out that the whole car was burned down to, well, ashes basically. So that was the end of my racing season, even before I arrived at the racetrack. They looked for a new challenge and came up with a new project, the Praga R4S. Originally, it was called the K1 Roadster, but they renamed it to the Praga R4S. The car is built in Slovakia, based on the street car, but right now it's only the looks that are the same. The car has been completely rebuilt to be a race car. People were wondering if I could fit into this little car. As you can see, it fits. It's not very spacious. That's not much different in the Mosler I used to drive. The steering wheel is in the right position, the seat is perfect, so it should work. Barry Van Elk is already showing great progress. Is the Praga R4S up to the challenge? Well, the car is not faster in a straight line, but it's quicker in a different way. It has about 60 horsepower less than the Mosler and even less torque. The Mosler has an American V8 engine with an enormous amount of torque, and this means that you can easily accelerate out of every corner. When you make a mistake in a slow corner, you can get back on full speed without any problems. The Praga has also a V8 engine, but it's a 3.2 liter based on two Hayabusa motorcycle engines, generating 515 brake horsepower. But the torque is just about 258 pounds per feet. And that means that it kicks in from 7,000 revs, so you have to keep the engine going through the slower corners. It's basically the same as driving a go-kart. If you make a mistake, the engine revs drop and you have to start all over again. This makes up for a very different way of driving, but it's great fun and it sounds great, revving up to 10,000 RPMs. During the fourth round at Assen Circuit, the Praga R4S surprised friend and foe by winning the race. A great reward for the hard work of the team and a continuing development of the car. Let's take a closer look at this unique Slovakian race car.
I would call the car more international now, because you got English people working on the car, on the engine, on the transmission. We got completely brand new, very serious team Praga, which is enjoying our Race for Slovakia company. And as you see, the car is renamed to Praga R4S, this latest model. And also, we got Czech pilots. So I would say it's pretty more international. But yes, we Slovaks and also Czechs are proud of the vehicle at the moment. It's completely engineered in-house, and all the body panels, everything is built in-house. All the interior, including the FIA approval process, what we did, for example, for the seat, which I think is not that usual in the small volume manufacturer. So the seat is crash test and FIA approved. We're the manufacturer of the seat, which we are proud of that, of course.
The Praga R4S competes with factory-delivered cars like the Ferrari 430 GT2, the Audi R8 LMS and the Mosler MT900R. What makes this car so good?
What is completely brand new on the vehicle is completely new design of a couple of safety features. one of the most important is a new crash box. A new crash box is built from a huge amount of honeycomb, combination of carbon and Kevlar pieces. So in the case of crash, this thing will save your life. Our strongest weapon in the field is the aerodynamical downforce. The way we build the aerodynamical on the new vehicle is pretty unique, since we don't have 2 or 3 airflows. We have general one airflow, which the air impacts under the splitter, which automatically generates the necessary downforce for the front axle, which is generated by this splitter. You got air which is coming from the front, but the same air is not only making the downforce, but is also going inside of this tunnel you see here, and it's cooling down the water radiator. And the same air is then cooling down the engine compartment. Since on the previous model vehicle, we have the air scoop on the side here. So of course, the side scoops are generating a lot of air drag. So in this particular case, you got the radiators hidden in the rocker panel. So as I said, the air starts here, getting into the tunnel, pushing down the vehicle in front, and the same air goes and cooling the water radiator. So the aero drag is seriously smaller than on a previous model car. So at the end of the day, the car is faster on the straight. The engine is still coming from England, from the same manufacturer. And the serious improvement is that from 2.7 we went to 3.2 liter engine. It's still V8, still built from 2 motorcycle engines. The big advantage is that the weight of the actual engine is still the same. And the center of gravity on this model is dropped 2.5 centimeters more towards the floor. So the center of gravity of the whole car is 2.5 centimeters lower. At the same moment, we ship the engine 3 centimeters more in the front, which at the end of the day gives you more perfect balance. So all the mass is more close to the central line of the vehicle, which the driver feels mainly in the chicanes. So to change the direction of the vehicle is easier with this engine and the whole layout of the new powertrain. Our engineers pay a lot of attention, very special attention, to proper setup of the wheels. We built and designed completely new hub. This hub is all made from CNC machined aluminum, of course. And the advantages of the whole system is that now to set up the proper height of the vehicle, you don't have to play with springs and you won't harm the ratio. The only thing what you have to do here is a thread on the push rod. So without any changing of caster, camber or anything else, you just drop the car lower or higher if necessary. At the same moment, if you just release these 2 screws, there are teeth and grooves, so our mechanics know exactly position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 means a certain value on caster and camber. So to do this job now, for us in training, in practicing, is extremely fast, and you won't do any mistake, because everything is pre-set. Driving this vehicle is a lot of passion. You can drive very wild and pretty aggressive, especially thanks to the centralizing of everything what is heavy in the vehicle. As you see, my butt is extremely close to the fuel tank. Not like many people think, it's important to have just 50 and 50% of balancing of the vehicle. It's not only 50 and 50%, it's also where the mass is. So it's not only you put 300 kilo there, 300 kilo there, you want to put 600 kilo here. That's very important for changing direction in the chicane and strong corners. And me as a pilot, I'm sitting almost in the central line of the vehicle. So as I said, not only from front and rear, but also from left and right side, everything is in the middle. That gives a driver fantastic opportunity to suddenly change direction and you won't spin. And combination is a very, very well done aerodynamic downforce. The car is extremely fast in the corner.
So, the Praga R4S, an impressive car with a bright racing future ahead. And ahead of us is the race on Sunday. 1 race, 72 cars, and a buttload of excitement. That and more after the break.
amateur racer. Here at GoRacingTV, we salute you. And we want to give you all the tools and info to compete with the best. Find out how to do it all from your own garage by watching our Club Racer and Autocrosser shows. GoRacingTV.com, supplying all your video racing needs.
And welcome back. You're watching the Dutch Supercar Challenge, the 5th round of the championship. And we go on with Sunday's race, and what a difference a day makes. After winning at a very wet Spa-Francorchamps circuit on Saturday, Robert de Graaf and Arnie van der Hoek start from pole position in their Audi. Second place is for the Mosler Super GT of Martin Short and guest driver Mike Gouache. On the very wet track yesterday, they didn't stand a chance against the Audi, but now on this dry track the tables are definitely turned. Martin Short is doing the first stint. His aim is to get away from the others as fast as possible. Barry van Elk in third position. Very confident for a good race. In the white Praga R4S, and he's starting alongside their championship leader in the Dutch Viper, and that's Diederik Seithoff. In 5th place, the Corvette, the C5R of Roger Grauwels, and he's also very confident for this race. So, after the warm-up lap, the whole field rolls down to the start, waiting for the lights to go off. Bert van der Zwede, championship leader, starts from pole position in Supersport 1. Koen Bogaert and Mark van der A, second in their championship, start from pole position in Supersport 2. And then Art Bosman, the black Lotus Exige, there you have him, starting from pole position in the sports division, on board with Rob Freins in the Porsche. Had a bit of a bad race on Saturday during the rain, but now he should do well. Pole position, Audi with Arnie van der Hoek and Robert de Graaf. And it's Arnie van der Hoek taking the first stint as the purple Audi silhouette car. That's a V8 Star that's driven by Briton Rick Wood. He's back in the Dutch Supercar Challenge. On board with Roger Grauwels. We're waiting for the lights to go out and we're off. And the Audi doesn't make a good start. It's the Mosler taking the best start on the outside, Audi on the inside. And oh, there's a bit of a shamble there by Corey Ozer. He hits the Viper. There's Martin Short, a victim as well. Let's see what happens. Diederik Seithoff. And he's hit. And then he hits Martin Short. Well, during the start it's very busy. First corner is very tight and Corey Ozer was next to me. I guess I turned in too early and I hit the nose of the Marcos and my car spun. These things can happen. I didn't see much behind me. I was braking very hard to keep my position. Oh well, I was so angry that I made up for a lot of places. So let's take a look at that again. There's Corey Ozer, and actually Diederik Seithoff is without any blame in this one. It's Corey Ozer, and he admitted to that after the race. Martin Short saw it like this and experienced it like this. That's Roger Grauwels nearly hitting him. And again, in real time, there you are. It is Corey Ozer. He nudges the Viper. Everybody's trying to get around there, and he reacts very good as well to his own hit. Fight for third place. After that mayhem at the start, Koen Bogaerts has dropped back to third place, but now he's going for second again. It's the Monster Brothers in the Seat. That's the big run up to Les Combes. And then in Supersport 1, it's Barry Maassen in the Mondeo taking the lead in front of Errol Etan and the Divitec driven by Carlo Kuijer. There's Bert van der Zweerde making up for the ground that he lost. Oh, safety car is out. Yellow flags all around. Rob Freins overtaking, but he would later give that place back. What has happened? Oh my lord. A major crash between the BMW of John van der Voort and the Focus of Eric van der Munkhoff. Yeah, the car in front of me was hit on the side and spun, so I couldn't go anywhere and crashed into him. It was actually just a small bump, so it was okay. But the car behind me crashed into my car at full speed, so I was smashed into the front car again. So this is a disaster. My car is wrecked. I'm fine though, but I feel miserable. I started from the back of the grid after the crash on Saturday, so I took it easy during the start, but you are really going full throttle to keep up. And I was looking for a gap on the right side, and suddenly there was the Focus in front of me. I couldn't avoid smashing into the car that was stationary. It's really a horrible weekend. The team worked very hard to fix the damage of Saturday's race, and now this happens. It's sad. And also the BMW M3 of Dirk Bonder and Marcel Roeleveld didn't make it through the first lap, and they bring the car in to fix it. They will not finish the race. The safety car situation takes about 20 minutes, an enormous amount of time because the two cars are stuck together and the track has only one tow car, so everybody has to go slow and wait. This means that the pit stop window is going to be open during the safety car situation. Audi van der Hoek, the leader in the race, brings the Audi R8 LMS GT3 in for the pit stop. Based on their previous podium finishes in the last couple of races, they have gained 25 result seconds. So they are to be added to the regular pit stop time. And with the safety car situation, they don't have any chance to compensate for these result seconds. So that means they have to push really hard to make up for those result seconds, 25 in total. Korthoeser, for instance, has no result seconds, so he should do very well coming out of the pits. And indeed, after the pit stops, Korthoeser is leading. Remember Dave Basu? He crashed on Saturday. Well, he has a one-off ride with Ricky Abresh. And Rick doing a very good deed indeed to let him drive the car. But he hasn't driven the car at all because there was a long safety car situation, so there's no sweat and Ricky takes the car. Back on track, Koen Bogaerts fighting for first position with Pieter van Zoelen. Who's gonna break the latest? It's Les Combes. Oh, Bogaerts very late on the brakes, and Van Zoelen tries to brake even later but fails miserably. Now let's take a closer look at Supersport 2. That's Daniel Servis in the Mondeo. He's not in Supersport 2 but in Supersport 1, but he's been pushed around and muscled out of the way by the Supersport 2 guys. And a very massive engine fire on Saturday, so he's still recovering from that. And meanwhile, fight for second place, door-to-door action here in Supersport 2 with Jan van der Kooi and Robin Monster. Robin Monster taking second place, Jan van der Kooi in third. And then there's a fight between the Supersport 2 Mondeo of Nick Hart and Dan Meyer in the Porsche. Good fight there as well. Again, Jan van der Kooi trying to take second place, and now he's successful. In third now, the Seat of Robin Monster. And Jan van der Kooi is getting really close to the first place, and that's Jan van der Kooi, and he takes first place. It's very fast in this GT3 Lotus Exige. BMW accelerating out of the bus stop, but it's Jan van der Kooi leading now. In second place, Koen Bogaerts, and in third place, Dan Meyer in the Porsche. Then it's Robin Monster. Dan Meyer doing very well for himself in this race in the Porsche, overtaking Robin Monster. And then let's take a look further down the field, fight for 7th place. That's Marcel Norbert and Peter van Zulen has dropped back enormously. It looks like Marcel Norbert is the faster car in the Seat, but he's on the wrong line for the Lecombe corner, and that means that Peter van Zulen takes P7. Yes, he does. So that's Peter van Zulen in 7th place and Marcel Norbert in the Seat in 8th. That's Dan Meyer and Robin Monster trying to make up for lost ground. Sakers there, not doing too well here in Spa-Francorchamps. Nick Aerts there trying to get around the Seat for 4th place. And he does. 5th is Robin Monster. That's Peter van Zulen. Whoa! Nick Aerts spins. Van Zulen takes a shortcut and ends up in front of the Seat. That's well, not how it should be, but now he's fighting the Seat on the straight. Peter van Zulen in the BMW is going to break the latest, and it is Peter van Zulen using all the power of the BMW going up. Eau Rouge, Radillon, then he's right on his tailpipe. Is Robin Monster coming out of the slipstream in the run up to Lecombe. Looks like Van Zulen has really taken advantage of this action, cutting off there on end chicane, and that means that he should be under investigation from the clerk of the course. Anyway, we don't know how they will decide, of course. In the pits, Mark van der Aa is waiting for Koen Bogaerts to bring the car in 2nd position. And they also didn't have any chance to compensate for the loss of time during the safety car situation. And they face an enormous amount of result seconds. Yeah, people still keep messing up the start because they do not line up properly behind the pace car. And that's why I lost 1 place to Peter van Zulen, who had a clean start. I could fight with the Monster brothers and I could overtake them just before the safety car situation. After the safety car, I outbraked Peter van Zulen at Lecombe, but I couldn't keep Jan van der Kooi behind me. So we're in 2nd place somewhere, and I came in for the pit stops. We have a lot of penalty seconds, result seconds, so I don't know exactly where we are right now. And indeed, they wouldn't be able to make up for lost ground and lost seconds because they ended up in 8th place. It wasn't a great weekend at all because here he is, almost involved in a crash. Mark van der Aa, Wim Jurgens in the Seeker. I mean, and a bit of a touchy-feely there. It's a good thing they're made out of soft material, these Seekers. And again in the repeat. Hoppa, and again. Not a good weekend for the 2nd in the championship, but also not a good weekend for Peter van Zulen. Suddenly, he's out. I keep having bad luck with this car. I was in 4th place, I was closing up on the 3rd place car, and all of a sudden I saw a puff of smoke on the left side of the car, and I was out of control and smashed into the tyre wall. After the break, we will be back with the 2nd part of this race, this exciting race on Sunday in the Dutch Supercar Challenge.
Hi there, I'm Tom Natchu, and this is Greg Kramer. We're called the old bastards of racing in many circles. You know, I guess we met back in the late 1980s.
Easy. It had to be at least that far back. Glory day of some racing, too.
Oh, absolutely. Trans Am was a part of the picture, and actually I learned to do pro announcing from this man around the Trans Am Championship. Oh, that is a long time ago.
A very long time ago, but I'll tell you what, you take a look at Trans Am racing in the early 90s in particular, the names that were running at that time. But the other side of the story was World Challenge was really starting to come alive at that point. And the names in that, there were sometimes you'd look at the two rosters and go, you know, I'm not sure which one is the most talent. Some amazing stuff from those decades past. And of course, a lot of those drivers also doubling up, running amateur racing in the runoffs. And it was spectacular stuff.
Now, Go Racing TV has got all of that action, Trans Am World Challenge, and even some runoff material, all coming up over the next season. That's going to be something to watch.
I know, to be able to relive those 2 decades of motorsports from the Sports Car Club of America's Pro Racing Department, Trans Am World Challenge, and then you include the National Amateur Championships, the runoff, the intense battles that unfolded there. It simply doesn't get any better than that, and it lives again right here on GoRacingTV.com.
Because I need to spend more time in front of my computer.
And welcome back. You're watching the Dutch Supercar Challenge, the 5th round of the championship at the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps. On the Ardennes track, we saw an exciting race with Cor Ozer messing it up. Bad news for championship leader Diederik Zuidhoff in the Viper. And that's where we pick up the action with Cor Ozer leading. That is on the track because he will get a 30-second penalty from the clerk of the course. Alex van 't Hoff in second place, Diederik Zuidhoff in third. Good fight between these two. Both of them American cars, both of them with, well, not exactly the same engines, but lots of torque. Diederik Zuidhoff with the V10, accelerating out, and he takes second place. And there's no answer from Alex van 't Hoff. And Alex van 't Hoff is under pressure, as well as Barry Van Elk, because he's dropping back. And Peter Versluis is now in fourth place. And now he's in third. Alex van 't Hoff can't keep Peter Versluis behind him. And Barry Van Elk is in the pits. Something is wrong. Yeah, actually, it's quite simple. The engine was overheating. I was in second after the pit stops, but quite soon after I had to give up, because it's best to save the engine rather than ruining everything and having to park the car somewhere around the circuit. Anyway, back in the race, fight for fourth place. The Audi now driven by Robert de Graaf, and he's lining up for a good fight. Behind Alex van 't Hoff in the Mosler, and look at him gaining on this Mosler. Who's gonna break latest? Well, it's Robert de Graaf, and he overtakes the Mosler for fourth place. After the pit stop, Supersport 1, how does it look? Well, Charlie Francis leading, and Wolf Nathan in second place. The car now driven by Jaap van Lagen, and that means bad news for Charlie Francis, as he's gaining, well, every corner, basically. Jaap van Lagen, professional racing driver, he's getting closer and closer. Rouge is definitely going to separate the men from the boys. And on the outside, Jaap van Lagen overtakes on the run to Lecombe. Yeah, accelerating out of Radion faster onto the straight and taking the full advantage in Lecombe. Well, today is a much better race than yesterday. We had a good share of bad luck in Saturday's race. I guess Lady Luck is on our side again. It's too bad that the first part of the race was dominated by the safety car, and after the pit stops Jaap van Lagen took over, so everything is going according to plan. And Robert de Graaf looks to be unleashed, fight for third place. Peter Versluis, is he going to be a victim as easy as the others? Fighting back through the entrance of bus stop, exit bus stop, accelerating out in the Audi. No, Ferrari is definitely the faster accelerator here. But now on the braking, is it the Ferrari? Oh, nice move. Nice move by Peter Versluis defending his spot. Down the hill. Anybody lifting? A little bit. Eau Rouge and Radillon. Now Lecombe. Now it's braking. He's in the slipstream. Is he going to pull out? There's a little bit of a brake test. Testing if the brakes are working before you have to really use them. Peter Versluis doing well. Closing the door in front of the Graaf's face. This is what we like to see. Peter Versluis in the Ferrari 430 GT2 and the Audi R8 LMS GT3. Audi van der Hoek getting closer and closer. Oh, he managed to box himself up there, and that gives Peter an advantage. Or does it? Because he's too fast into the corner now, has to take a shortcut, and there's the Audi. But is he going to enjoy this for a long time? I don't think so, because Ricker Bresch is there, and he overtakes the Audi. So it's now Ricker Bresch in the Corvette in third place, fourth Audi, and that's Robert de Graaf. Ricker Bresch using all the torque he can find in this Corvette, and that's a lot. The Audi has to do it under braking. That means that Ricker Bresch has to leave a gap, and he doesn't so far. Hoppa! That's power. That's power going up to Lecombe, and he manages to keep the car in front. Oh! Very close racing here. The grunt in the Corvette is enormous. But Robert de Graaf drives this Audi like it's a tennis shoe. It really fits him. Alex van 't Hoff is out. Looks to be a puncture. Had a slow puncture. Now it's a definite puncture. And he stops. Well, it's the end of the race anyway. Corrosa wins it despite his 30-second penalty. Fight for fifth place is still going on in the very last lap. Peter Versluis in the Ferrari, Roger Gauwels in the Corvette. Oh, brave move. Brave move going up to the bus stop chicane. Roger Gauwels takes fifth place. All he has to do now is finish, and he does so in front of the Ferrari. So let's take a look at the podium. Cor Ozer is back. Diederik Seithoff in second place. Third place for Ricker Bresch and Dave Bassou. Robert de Graaf in fourth with the Audi, Roger Gauwels in fifth with the Corvette, and Peter Versluis with the Ferrari in sixth. Diederik Seithoff leads the championship. Dave Bassou takes important points for the championship by sharing the car that Ricker Bresch drives, so he can be very happy with that. Wolf Nathan and Jaap van Lagen win it in front of Charlie and Rob Freins. Yeah, Wolf started the race, but all he could do was drive slowly behind the safety car, so it's a shame this dominated the first part of the race. It took way too long to get the crash cars off the track, almost 20 minutes, and that's really amateuristic. The pit window opened during the safety car situation, so we decided that I should get into the car. I had a great race and managed to overtake a lot of cars and took the win. Our biggest competitor dropped out of the race with technical problems, so this is good business for the championship. Indeed, because Bert van der Zwierde doesn't finish the race, so he's not in the results. That means that Wolf Nathan and Jaap van Lagen take the championship lead. Earl Etten and René Weijner in second place and Bert van der Zwierde in third. 3 different makes of cars in the Supersport 2. Dan Meijer in the Porsche, Marcel Norbert in the Seat, and winner Jan van der Kooi in the Lotus Exige.
Lotus team is ja, sweet. We have to.
We zien een team, ja. Dit is onze Fransozen, de Duitse team. Dat is bergen.
Ik denk dat wij mogen stellen dat we vandaag.
I think it's safe to say that we of the Van der Kooi Lotus team are having a great day. 2 first places in Supersport 2 and Sport Division, and a 3rd place in the Sports Division for Art Bosman, who had to wait a long time during the pit stops because of his result seconds. So big smiles all around. Jan van der Kooi winning in front of Marcel Norbert and Dan Meijer. Robin Monster and Ferry Monster in 4th. And that means they take important points for the championship. They confirm their first place in the championship with 128 points. Koen Bogerts, Mark van der in 2nd place and Marcel Norbert now in 3rd. In the sports division, a very well driven race by the Van Vliet brothers, but the win goes to Guillaume Schultz in the Lotus, Peter van Vliet and Nico van Vliet in 2nd place, and Art Bosman in 3rd. Art Bosman is the confirmed championship leader. Guillaume Schultz in 2nd place, also a Lotus, and Van der Bos and Van der Zweerde in 3rd. So that completes our racing weekend at Spa-Francorchamps. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.